What if I told you there's a piece of Africa literally buried under Alabama? That Chicago made a river flow uphill and backwards? That you can place your hand on rocks in the Grand Canyon that are 1.2 billion years apart? With over a billion years of Earth's history just missing? But here's the kicker. There's a mountain in Hawaii that's taller than Everest. And get this, most of Canada lives south of Seattle. Oh, and that time a California town literally declared war on the United States and won? Yeah, that happened too. I'm about to shatter everything you thought you knew about American geography. These aren't just facts. They're geographical impossibilities that somehow exist. Buckle up because your brain is about to glitch so hard, you'll question reality itself. Fact number 1. The African secret beneath America. Let's start with something so insane it sounds like science fiction. Right now, as you're watching this, there's a massive chunk of the African continent buried beneath your feet. When the supercontinent Pangaea ripped apart 200 million years ago, a piece of Africa got left behind and is now permanently wedged under Alabama, Georgia, and the Carolinas. You're not just in America, you're literally sitting on ancient Africa. Fact number 2. The Billion-Year Vanishing Act. Here's where things get truly mind-bending. Walk up to a specific spot in the Grand Canyon, scientists call it the Great Unconformity, and place your hand on the rock boundary. Congratulations, you just touched rocks that are 1.2 billion years apart. The rock above formed 550 million years ago. The rock below? 1.7 billion years old. Where did 1.2 billion years of Earth's history go? It just disappeared. Like someone took a cosmic eraser to our planet's biography. It's one of geology's greatest unsolved mysteries, and it's sitting right there in America's most famous canyon. Fact number 3. The mountain that broke the rules. Mount Everest is famous for being the world's tallest mountain, but here's what they don't tell you. It's actually a fraud. The real tallest mountain on Earth is sitting in Hawaii, and it's called Mauna Kea. While Everest reaches 29,032 feet above sea level, Mauna Kea, measured from its true base on the ocean floor, towers at an absolutely staggering 33,500 feet. That's nearly 4,500 feet taller than Everest. The ocean was hiding a giant, and we fell for the illusion. Hawaii doesn't just have beaches, it has the tallest mountain on the planet. Fact number 4. Chicago's physics-defying engineering. In 1900, the city of Chicago accomplished something that should be physically impossible. They made a river flow uphill and backwards. The Chicago River naturally flowed east into Lake Michigan, the city's water source. But sewage was contaminating their drinking water, so engineers said screw physics and reversed the entire river. They didn't just redirect it, they made it flow against its natural gradient, essentially forcing water to flow uphill. It's considered one of the most audacious engineering feats in human history, and it proves that Americans will literally move mountains or rivers to solve a problem. Fact number 5. The Canadian geography lie. Everything you know about Canada's location is wrong. Over 75% of Canada's population, including major cities like Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa, lives south of Seattle, Washington. That's right, the majority of our northern neighbors actually live below us. The stereotype of Canada being this frozen northern wasteland is geography's biggest lie. Most Canadians enjoy a more southern lifestyle than people in Alaska, Montana, North Dakota, and northern Minnesota. Fact number 6. The backwards Mississippi. Rivers flow downhill toward the ocean, right? Tell that to the Mississippi River during hurricane season. When massive Gulf Coast storms surge inland, they carry so much water that they literally reverse the flow of America's mightiest river. The Mississippi, all 2,300 miles of it, starts flowing backwards, uphill, defying gravity and every law of hydrology. Fact 7. The triple ocean phenomenon. There's a single mountain peak in Montana where one raindrop can end up in 3 different oceans. Triple Divide Peak and Glacier National Park is the only place on Earth where water flows into the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean via the Gulf of Mexico, and the Arctic Ocean through Hudson Bay. Stand on this peak and you're literally at the crossroads of three major ocean systems. It's like nature's version of a three-way intersection, except with continents. Fact 8. The Freshwater Treasure Vault. Lake Superior contains 10% of the world's surface fresh water. Let that sink in. One lake, sitting on the border between the US and Canada, holds 1/10 of all the readily available fresh water on planet Earth. It's 1,332 feet deep, 350 miles long, and contains enough water to flood the entire continental United States to a depth of 1 foot. If the Great Lakes were a country, they'd control more fresh water than most nations combined. Fact 9. The Accidental Sea. California's Salton Sea, a massive body of water in the desert, was created by pure human incompetence. In 1905, engineers were building irrigation canals when shoddy construction caused the Colorado River to break free and flood into a desert basin for 2 solid years. By the time they fixed their mistake, they'd accidentally created California's largest lake. Now it's becoming increasingly toxic, a monument to engineering failure that's visible from space. Fact 10. The Infinite Bridge. Louisiana has the longest bridge continuously over water in the entire world, and it's so long it breaks your brain. The Lake Pontchartrain Causeway stretches 23.83 miles across the lake. That's longer than the distance between some cities. When you're driving across it, you literally lose sight of land on both sides. For several minutes, you're driving through what feels like the middle of the ocean, surrounded by nothing but water to the horizon. It's like a highway to nowhere. Fact 11. The Endless Labyrinth. Beneath Kentucky lies the longest cave system on Earth, and we're still discovering how massive it really is. Mammoth Cave has over 426 miles of mapped passages, and explorers find new tunnels every year. To put this in perspective, you could drive from New York City to Boston and still not cover the distance of mapped cave tunnels. There's an entire underground world beneath Kentucky, complete with rivers, waterfalls, and chambers so large they have their own weather systems. Fact 12. The Business Underground. Kansas City, Missouri operates one of the world's largest underground business complexes in what used to be limestone mines. Subtropolis covers over 6 million square feet. That's bigger than 100 football fields. And houses everything from corporate offices to massive storage facilities. Entire companies operate hundreds of feet underground, protected from tornadoes, temperature extremes, and probably the apocalypse. It's like a real-life Vault-Tec shelter, except it's filled with office workers instead of survivors. Fact 13. The Earth's curvature made visible. The Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah are so perfectly flat that you can actually see the curvature of the Earth with your naked eye. This 30,000-acre expanse of crystallized salt is flatter than a pancake. Literally. The entire area varies in elevation by less than 6 feet, creating a surface so level it's used to calibrate scientific instruments. Stand in the middle, and the horizon curves away from you in all directions, proving we live on a sphere without needing to go to space. Fact 14. The Canadian Passport Town. Point Roberts, Washington is a piece of America that can only be reached by driving through Canada. This 5-square-mile community is completely cut off from the rest of the United States by the 49th parallel. Residents need their passports to buy groceries, go to school, or visit a doctor in their own country. It's like living in a geographical prison where the bars are invisible treaty lines drawn by politicians who never had to live with the consequences. Fact 15. The Kentucky Island. There's a piece of Kentucky that you can only reach by traveling through Tennessee and Missouri. The Kentucky Bend, also called the New Madrid Bend, is completely isolated by a dramatic loop in the Mississippi River. The 17 square miles of Kentucky farmland are accessible only by crossing through 2 other states. Fact 16. The English soil in America. Hidden on North Carolina's Outer Banks is a tiny plot of land that belongs to England forever. The British cemetery on Ocracoke Island was permanently leased to the United Kingdom after 4 British naval officers were buried there during World War II. The lease costs exactly $1 per year and runs in perpetuity, meaning there's a piece of England on American soil that will remain British until the end of time. Fact 17. The surveyor's permanent mistake. The border between New Mexico and Oklahoma looks perfectly straight on maps, but it's actually crooked due to a 19th century surveyor's error. Ehud Darling was hired in 1859 to survey the border, but he made a critical mistake that created a permanent jog in the state line. Instead of resurveying, officials decided to live with the error. One man's bad day at work became permanent geography affecting 2 states forever. Fact 18. The snowing desert. Death Valley, the hottest and driest place in North America, occasionally gets snow. The same desert that holds the world record for highest air temperature at 134 degrees Fahrenheit can be covered in white powder during the winter storms. It's like nature's ultimate contradiction. A place so hot it can kill you in summer, so cold it can freeze you in winter. The desert that breaks thermometers also breaks meteorological logic. Fact 19. The wind that defies belief. Mount Washington in New Hampshire recorded the fastest surface wind speed ever measured on Earth, 231 miles per hour. To put this in perspective, Category 5 hurricanes have winds of 157 miles per hour or higher. Mount Washington's wind was hurricane force times 1.5. The wind was so powerful it could literally pick up a person and throw them off the mountain. It's like nature decided to install a jet engine on a mountaintop. Fact 20. The Colorado Sahara. The tallest sand dunes in North America aren't in any desert. They're in Colorado, nestled against snow-capped mountains. Great Sand Dunes National Park features dunes up to 750 feet tall, created by winds that have been depositing sand in the same valley for 440,000 years. You can literally sandboard down massive dunes with the Rocky Mountains as your backdrop. It's like someone copy-pasted the Sahara into the middle of the American West. Fact 21. The temperate rainforest giant. Alaska's Tongass National Forest is a temperate rainforest larger than any forest in Europe, completely destroying the stereotype of Alaska as a frozen wasteland. This 17 million acre rainforest receives up to 200 inches of rain annually and contains trees over 700 years old. It's a lush green ecosystem that looks more like the Pacific Northwest than the Arctic, proving Alaska is far more diverse than anyone imagines. Fact 22. The Alaska Triple Crown. Alaska is simultaneously the northernmost, westernmost, and easternmost state in America. While the north part is obvious, here's where it gets weird. The Aleutian Islands stretch so far west that they cross the 180th meridian, placing parts of Alaska in the eastern hemisphere. This means Alaska literally wraps around the globe, making it the only state that exists in both the western and eastern hemispheres. Fact 23. The West Coast Deception. Reno, Nevada, sitting in the middle of the desert, is actually west of Los Angeles, California. Despite California being the West Coast, this inland Nevada city is further west than the Pacific coastal metropolis. The West Coast isn't even the westernmost part of the West Coast. Your understanding of American geography just got flipped upside down. Fact 24. The Southern North. Atlanta, Georgia, the heart of the American South, sits west of Detroit, Michigan. The eastern seaboard curves so dramatically inward that southern cities end up west of northern ones. The Mason-Dixon line isn't just about north versus south, it's about east versus west too, and nobody talks about it. Fact 25. The Triple Landlocked Prison. Nebraska is the only triply landlocked state in America, meaning you must cross at least 3 states in any direction to reach a major body of water. It's like being trapped in the center of a continental maze. Nebraskans are more isolated from the ocean than residents of some landlocked countries. They're geographically imprisoned by their own success in being perfectly centered. Fact 26. The triple threat. The United States sits on not one, but 3 supervolcanoes capable of ending civilization as we know it. Everyone knows about Yellowstone, but there's also the Long Valley Caldera in California and the Valles Caldera in New Mexico. Each one could produce eruptions thousands of times more powerful than Mount St. Helens. We're literally living on top of geological time bombs that could reshape the continent. Fact 27. The ancient mountains. The Appalachian Mountains are among the oldest mountains on Earth, over 1 billion years old, and they used to be part of a mountain range that connected to Scotland and Africa. When Pangaea existed, you could have hiked from Georgia to Scotland along the same mountain chain. Fact 28. The alligator crocodile paradise. The Florida Everglades is the only place on Earth where alligators and crocodiles naturally coexist. These ancient predators, separated by evolution millions of years ago, share the same hunting grounds in South Florida's unique subtropical ecosystem. It's like nature's version of Jurassic Park, except it's real and you can visit it. Fact 29. The Salt Lake illusion. Utah's Great Salt Lake is saltier than the ocean, significantly saltier. Because it's an endorheic lake with no outlet, water only leaves through evaporation, leaving behind concentrated salts. The lake is so salty that you literally cannot sink in it. You'll float like a cork no matter how hard you try to dive underwater. Fact 30. The nighttime rainbow. Cumberland Falls in Kentucky creates a phenomenon so rare that only a few places on Earth can produce it. A moonbow or rainbow created by moonlight. When conditions are perfect, the combination of mist and bright moonlight creates a ghostly white rainbow that appears in complete darkness. It's like nature's nightlight, visible only to those who know when and where to look. Fact 31. The impossible pronunciation. The longest place name in America has 45 letters and will destroy your tongue. Lake Chargogagog Manchogagog Chabunagu in Massachusetts. This Native American name translates to English knifemen and Nipmuc Indians at the boundary or neutral fishing place. Try ordering a pizza delivery to that address. Fact 32. The Leprechaun Colony. Portland, Oregon is home to the world's smallest park, Mill Ends Park, which is exactly 2 feet in diameter and officially designated as a leprechaun colony. This tiny circular patch of land was created by a local journalist who claimed leprechauns lived there, and the city made it official. America has a federally recognized leprechaun habitat. Fact 33. The pre-Columbian metropolis. In 1100 AD, there was a city in Illinois with a larger population than London. Cahokia, built by Native Americans, housed an estimated 20,000 people when London was still a modest town. This massive urban center featured sophisticated earthwork mounds, some over 100 feet tall, and a complex society that predated European discovery of America by 400 years. Fact 34. The one-building town. Almost the entire population of Whittier, Alaska, about 272 people, lives in a single 14-story building called Bagich Towers. The building contains apartments, a school, post office, store, and city offices. Residents can go weeks without stepping outside, especially during harsh winters. It's like a real-life SimCity experiment in vertical living. Fact 35. Town where you can walk between 4 states. There's a town where you can walk between 4 states at Four Corners Monument. You can stand in Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona simultaneously, the only place where 4 U.S. states intersect. Though modern surveys suggest the actual point may be 1,800 feet away, Congress officially recognizes this marker as the legal boundary. This unique landmark draws thousands of visitors each year, eager to stand in 4 states at once and snap the iconic photo. Fact 36. The floating garbage continent. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch sits within 1,000 miles of California's coast. We created a new landmass out of pure garbage, and it's drifting closer to home than most Americans realize. Fact 37. The Slavery Panhandle. Oklahoma's bizarre panhandle exists because of slavery. Texas gave up its northern territory just to join the Union as a slave state. That rectangular strip is America's darkest chapter carved into the landscape. Fact 38. The Center of Nowhere. Allen, South Dakota is over 1,025 miles from any coastline, the most landlocked point in the Western Hemisphere. Residents are more isolated from saltwater than people in Switzerland. Fact 39. Delaware's River Dominance Delaware owns the entire Delaware River to New Jersey's shoreline due to a 1682 land grant. New Jersey can't even put a dock in their own river without Delaware's permission. Fact 40. The overnight relocation. Carter Lake, Iowa went to bed in Iowa and woke up in Nebraska without moving. An 1877 flood changed the Missouri River's course, creating a bizarre Iowa exclave inside Nebraska. Fact 41. The exact middle of America. A simple stone monument in a Kansas wheat field marks the exact geographic center of the United States. No gift shop, just a humble stone at the bullseye of America. Fact 42. The Golden Arches. Resistance, Montpelier, Vermont is the only state capital without a McDonald's. This city of 8,000 has successfully resisted the Golden Arches where every other capital failed. Fact 43. The Canadian Detour. Extreme Minnesota's northwest angle can only be reached by driving through Canada due to a 340-year-old mapping error. Residents need passports to reach their own post office. Fact 44. The Washington. Naming Frenzy, America has 94 places named after George Washington, including an entire state. No other president comes close to this geographical domination. Fact 45. The Five-County Convergence. 5 Florida counties meet at a single underwater point in Lake Okeechobee. You could theoretically stand in 5 counties simultaneously if you could walk on water. Fact 46. The Forbidden Island. Hawaii's Niuahiau has been closed to the public since 1864. Only 170 native Hawaiians live there, speaking Hawaiian and living as their ancestors did. Fact 47. The 3-Month Republic. In 1850, Rough and Ready, California declared independence and formed their own country. The rebellion lasted 3 months before they rejoined to celebrate July 4th. Fact 48. The walkable mighty Mississippi. During droughts, America's mightiest river becomes shallow enough to walk across. In 1988 and 2012, people literally walked from one state to another. Fact 49. The Russian-American border. The Diomede Islands are only 2.5 miles apart. One Russian, one American. Winter ice creates a bridge and people have illegally walked between the countries. Fact 50. The deeper canyon. Nobody knows. Hell's Canyon is 2,000 feet deeper than the Grand Canyon, but hardly anyone knows about it. America's deepest canyon hides in plain sight. So there you have it. 50 geographical impossibilities hiding in plain sight across America. Your country is far stranger than any textbook ever told you. Which fact broke your brain? Drop it in the comments. I guarantee you learned something that'll stick with you forever. If your mind feels completely rewired, smash that like button. Subscribe, because if American geography is this insane, wait until you see what I've discovered about the rest of the planet.